Relationships and love and sex.
Oh, yeah.
And he really doesn't hold back, does he?
No, he doesn't.
It's kind of what makes this deep dive so interesting.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting about it is like, we're looking at all these different experiences,
Yeah.
the good and the bad, the sweet and the sour,
Yeah.
the tender and the turbulent.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and there's just like this raw honesty that comes through
Yeah.
in these lyrics.
Yeah.
You really wonder how much of this is from his real life.
Right, exactly.
Uh,
So that's what we're trying to figure out. Like,
okay.
is this really him talking about his relationships?
Yeah.
Or is this like commentary or both?
Right.
So let's look at some of these lyrics
Right.
and see if we can find any patterns.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really jumps out at me is how he talks about the bad parts of relationships.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, better off without you, codependent,
Right. Yeah.
These are not happy songs.
Yeah, those songs paint a really stark picture of like love gone wrong.
Yeah.
The kind of love that just leaves you feeling just completely drained.
Yeah, it's almost hard to listen to sometimes.
It is.
Like that line, any day without you is a great time. You're my only source of stress, my decline.
Wow.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
But there's also this honesty to it that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's like
Uh-huh.
he's giving a voice to a lot of things that people experience in relationships.
Right.
But don't talk about
Yeah.
that feeling of being trapped, being used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And codependent really captures that, that feeling of wanting to be with someone,
Yeah.
even though you know it's bad for you.
Yeah.
Like, they only notice me once their new supply is gone.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's like, ouch.
Yeah.
It's like being used and then tossed aside.
Exactly. And I think he's really forcing us to look at the dark side of love. The ways that wanting to be with someone can make us vulnerable to being hurt.
It's like he's holding up a mirror
Totally.
to all of us.
Yeah.
And then there's songs like, I hate her and my wife cucks me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wow.
Intense.
They're so raw and angry.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
But there's also this dark humor in there
Uh-huh.
that makes you wonder if he's using it to cope with the pain.
Yeah, there's definitely something provocative about those songs. Like,
Right.
he's pushing the boundaries,
Yeah.
not shying away from the uncomfortable stuff.
So is he trying to get a reaction?
Yeah?
Or is this just him getting it all out?
Right.
It's like we're looking into his mind,
It's fascinating.
trying to figure out what's real and what's not.
And I think that's part of the appeal. The
Yeah.
ambiguity keeps us guessing.
So we've got the bad relationships, the raw emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this other side to his music
Okay.
where he explores these really intense desires and power dynamics.
Yeah, like our slave and Dami Mommy.
Yeah, those are definitely not your typical love songs.
No, they're not.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's really interesting how he takes these themes that people don't usually talk about,
Right.
like BDSM and power play,
Yeah.
and he just puts it all out there. The line from her slave, the more you hurt, the more I need.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty intense.
it is.
It makes you think about consent and control and why people get into those kinds of relationships.
It's definitely not something you hear every day.
Right. And I think it's part of a bigger conversation that's happening right now about sexuality and power.
Yeah.
And he's tapping into that.
It's like he's challenging us to rethink what's normal in a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the toxic relationships, the
Yeah.
intense desires,
Mm-hmm.
but then he also had these songs that are like
What?
tender and vulnerable,
Right.
like Leave Me Be and In Her Arms I'll Drown.
Yeah, those are really beautiful songs.
They are.
Like total opposites of the darker ones. It's like he's showing us that love can be peaceful too.
Yeah, Leave Me Be is so simple,
Right.
but it's so powerful.
It's all about respect and space.
Right.
Letting each other be yourselves.
Yeah.
That's really healthy,
Yeah.
a good foundation for a relationship.
Uh-huh.
And In Her Arms, I'll Drown.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That one's a little dark.
It is a little dark.
But it's also about this complete surrender to love.
Right.
Like giving yourself over completely.
Even if it means losing yourself.
Yeah.
It's a very romantic idea.
So he's showing us that love can be both destructive and peaceful.
Yeah, definitely.
But then he hits us with songs like
What?
She's Better Dead and Try to Hold On.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Back to reality.
Yeah. These songs are about loss and death,
Mm.
and they're really heavy.
They're hard to listen to for sure.
Especially She's Better Dead.
Oh, yeah.
That one's really intense.
Very intense.
It's like he's exploring the darkest parts of grief and anger.
Right.
It's almost too much,
It is.
but it's also really powerful.
Yeah. And, I think it makes you think about how love can turn into something really destructive.
Yeah, like how it can lead to obsession and resentment.
Right. And sometimes the only way to survive is to let go.
And then trying to hold on,
Yeah.
it's a little less shocking,
It is.
but it's still really sad.
Yeah.
It's about trying to hold on to something that's already gone.
Yeah. And knowing you can't.
Right.
It's a reminder that nothing lasts forever.
So we've got all these different emotions, all these different sides of love. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly.
It's a lot.
It is.
It really makes you think.
So as we move on to the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
the big question is,
What's that?
what is Cosmic Jester trying to say about love and sex?
Good question.
Is there like a main theme
Yeah.
that connects all of these different ideas? It's a puzzle.
It is. It's interesting how he brings technology into all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Love and sex and AI girlfriends and like virtual catfish encounters. It's like there's this paranoia about technology.
Yeah, he's showing us what our obsession with technology is doing to our relationships.
Right.
Like, are we even able to have real intimacy anymore when everything is so digital?
And even our identities are all over the place.
Right.
It's hard to know who you are sometimes.
Exactly.
The digital world.
And that AI girlfriend in Digital Love, Digital Chains, she's like the perfect example.
Oh, yeah.
She's supposed to be this perfect partner.
Right.
But she's also controlling and kind of scary.
Yeah, and she's always watching.
Yeah, like that line, I built her for fun, but she's become my chain, an AI obsession driving me insane.
Ooh.
It's like he's afraid of becoming a slave to technology.
Yeah, that's a real fear these days.
And it's not just about being controlled. It's about not knowing what's real anymore.
Yeah.
Like in VR Catfish Love. Can you really love someone if you don't even know who they are?
It's a good question.
Is that even real love?
Right?
Or is it just a fantasy?
Yeah, and it's something we're all dealing with now as we spend more and more time online.
Like, what even is reality anymore?
Exactly.
And Cosmic Jester isn't afraid to ask those tough questions.
No, he's not.
He's making us think about what love and intimacy mean in this crazy digital world.
In this new world.
So we've got the technology.
Yeah.
But then he throws in these supernatural elements, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like skinwalkers and demons. It's like he's creating this whole mythology around relationships.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's like love can transform you.
Right.
It can make you into something else.
Yeah, like my wife's a skinwalker.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
It is.
But also kind of romantic.
Yeah, how so?
Well, he loves his wife,
Uh-huh.
even though she's a skinwalker.
Right.
He accepts her for who she really is.
Even though she's terrifying.
Exactly.
It's true love.
And then Mother of Demons.
Ooh.
That one's dark.
Very dark.
But it's also about giving yourself over to desire.
Yeah, like surrendering to something bigger than yourself.
Right.
Even if it's dangerous.
Okay, so we've got technology, we've got the supernatural. But then he also has these songs that are just about like pure love and connection, like Leave Me Be.
Oh, yeah.
And In Her Arms I'll Drown.
Those are beautiful songs.
They are.
They're like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
After all the darkness.
It's like he's showing us that love can be peaceful too.
Exactly.
Like in Leave Me Be, it's all about giving each other space.
Yeah, and respecting each other's individuality.
Right.
It's a very mature kind of love.
Yeah. And In Her Arms I'll Drown.
Yeah.
It's about this total surrender.
Uh-huh.
But in a good way.
Like losing yourself in the love.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
It's like he's saying love is worth the risk.
Yeah.
Even if it means losing yourself.
Totally. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has.
Through all these different kinds of love.
Yeah, all the ups and downs.
The good, the bad.
The AI girlfriends, the skinwalkers.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a crash course in human relationships.
It is.
But now we have to figure out what it all means.
Yeah.
What's the takeaway?
Right. What's he trying to tell us about love and sex and like the whole human experience?
Exactly.
Well, I think one thing that really stands out is how he doesn't try to simplify things. Like he doesn't give us easy answers.
Yeah.
It's not like a fairy tale.
It's messy.
It is.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's real.
And he's showing us all of it.
Yeah, the good, the bad.
The beautiful, the ugly.
The light, the dark.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying, this is what love is.
Uh-huh.
Don't expect it to be perfect.
Right. It's not always going to be pretty.
And he's definitely challenging our ideas about what love should be.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like he's making us think outside the box.
And it's not just about romantic love either.
Right.
It's about that need to connect with other people.
Yeah. To belong.
To feel understood.
Yeah.
To find something bigger than ourselves.
And you see that in all of his songs.
Yeah, even the dark ones.
Like, even when he's talking about heartbreak and loss, there's still that desire for connection.
Right.
It's like he's saying, love is worth the risk.
Even if it hurts.
Exactly.
Even if it breaks your heart.
Because sometimes it does.
It does.
But there's also this other theme that keeps coming up.
What's that?
The idea that love is powerful.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But it can also be dangerous.
Like a double-edged sword.
Exactly. Like in My Wife's a Skinwalker. He loves her.
Right.
Even though she's a skinwalker.
But it's not all sunshine and roses.
No.
There's a darkness there, too.
Yeah, it's like he's saying love can be both beautiful and terrifying.
And sometimes both at the same time.
And then there's Mother of Demons.
Ooh, yeah.
That one's really intense.
It is.
It's like he's exploring the dark side of desire.
Right.
How it can consume you.
Yeah. But you know what I think is really brave about all of this?
It's that.
Is that he's not afraid to show us the ugly parts.
Yeah.
The parts that we usually try to hide.
He's putting it all out there.
Exactly.
The mess, the pain, the heartbreak.
The whole shebang.
And he's not just talking about our inner world.
Yeah, right.
He's also looking at how technology's changing the way we love.
Oh, yeah.
Like that AI girlfriend in Digital Love, Digital Chains.
Yeah, she's a perfect example.
She's this perfect fantasy.
Yeah, right.
But she's also a trap. It's like a warning about what technology can do to us.
Right? Like it can promise us connection.
But it can also isolate us.
And control us.
And then VR catfish love.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how can you even know if you're really connecting with someone online?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like the whole idea of authenticity is up for grabs.
And in a world where everyone is presenting their best self online, it's hard to know what's real.
So what's the message?
What do you think?
I think he's saying, be careful.
Yeah.
But don't give up on love.
Even if it's hard.
Even if it's messy.
Even if it hurts.
Because it's worth it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Love is worth it.
Even with all the baggage.
The heartbreak, the loss.
The AI girlfriends, the skinwalkers.
All of it.
It's all part of the journey.
So that's Cosmic Jester.
In a nutshell.
A lot to think about.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.